Hi, Cardinals. This is your book of the week. It is called Psy and Medusa. That is the title of your book. This is the cover page of your book. So the first thing I want you to think of is think to yourself, does this book have characters or is it an informational book? So looking at our title and our cover page, do you think that this book is going to be a fiction book that has a plot, characters, and setting? Or do you think this is going to be an informational book, which is a nonfiction book which gives us information and facts about a topic? So think to yourself while you are reading. The second thing I want you to do is turn your page and look at the focus question. Remember that the focus question is very important. It tells us what we should be focusing on when we are reading. Okay, so when we are reading, our focus question is, what problems do the main characters share? What problems do they have that are the same in the story? And how do they solve those problems? So we already know that the characters will have problems in this book, but that they overcome their problems, that they're able to solve their problems. So we need to think of how do they solve their problems and how are their problems alike? How are they the same? The next thing we want to do is we want to open up to our words to know. Remember that our words to know are very important. They are our vocabulary words for this book. Okay, so we want to read over our words to know, which are all of these here, and then we want to go into the back of our book to our glossary. Our glossary is like a mini dictionary. It's going to tell us the definition of our words to know so that we understand the word, and it's going to tell us whether that word is a noun, a verb, or an adjective. So the first thing I want us to do is look at our glossary. We need to look at the word direct, which is an adjective, the word mirrors, which is a noun, and all of our other words here. All of these are, from what it looks like, almost all nouns, one verb, and one adjective. So I want you to look at this, and I want you to read this before you start reading the actual book. We need to make sure that we understand these words. And if we are reading and we see one of these words and we don't remember what it is, we can come back to our glossary to try to figure out what the word means. So, when you are reading, remember that you are reading out loud, okay? Not very loud. You can do a whisper read, but you don't want to read just to yourself. You want to read out loud. You want to follow along with your finger when you are reading so that you know each word that you are reading. And you can begin reading. You can do this by yourself. You can also do this with a partner. Okay? Once you are finished reading, you will see your activity of the day. It has two sides. It has this side and this side. So let's take a look at this side first. This is our graphic organizer of the day, to organize our thoughts about our book, to brainstorm about our book. Okay, so the first thing is the characters. Who are the characters in the book? Okay, try to draw them the way they look in the book. Okay, you're going to draw your characters and label them. Do not forget to label them. The setting, remember that the setting is when and where the story took place. So what is the setting of this book? Is the setting the same the whole book, or does the setting change when we are reading? So think about that and write all the places that are the setting of this book. And the third thing is the plot. And the plot is what happens, and it's the order. Remember we talked about our roller coaster. The beginning of our roller coaster is the beginning of the plot. Then we come up to the middle of the roller coaster, which is the middle of the story, which is usually when we see the problems in the story. Then when we go down, 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 that is the ending of our story, and usually that is when our problems get solved in the story, whatever those problems are in a fiction story, okay? So you're going to draw the plot. Make sure that I know what was the first thing that happened, what was the middle thing that happened, and what was the last thing that happened. I need to be able to see that when I look here. On the other side, we are missing quotation marks. Remember those words, quotation marks. So quotation marks we use when we want to tell someone that we are saying something. So if I said, comma, quotation marks, go home, period, end of quotation marks. So this would be the way that I could use quotation marks. I said, comma, quotation marks, capital letter here, go home. Then I finish my sentence with a period, and I end my sentence closing my quotation marks. This is the way that we would correctly use quotation marks. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at these sentences, and they are missing their quotation marks. You need to figure out where they are missing quotation marks, put the quotation marks in the right place, and read those sentences when you are finished the way that the character would read them, okay? So again, first thing, start your book, look at your focus question, look at your words to know. If you still need help on your words to know, go to your glossary. Then you will read your book out loud, following along with your finger, looking for your vocabulary words. Then you will draw and label your characters, your setting, when and where the story takes place, and your plot, which is the order of what happens in the story. And last, you will put your quotation marks, just like we did here in the correct spot, and you will read these sentences the right way, the way the character would read them. So make sure that you are paying attention to quotation marks. Is there a period? Is it a question? Is it an exclamation point? What is it, and how should we be reading that? Okay, good luck.